podcast Let's Talk. I am so happy that you are here, and I am looking forward to diving into the right use of will.
Thank you. Me too. Because I think it's like the creme de la creme of spirituality from my perspective. So I'm always happy to talk about right use of will. And we did a podcast maybe a year ago.
Yes.
So in the first podcast we talked about the ultimate trilogy.
Yes, last time we spoke on the ultimate trilogy, and those for us include the three beautiful books. The first one is The Course in Miracles. The second one, or it's not in a certain order, but there is The Right Use of Will. That's more for the feminine, where The Course in Miracles is more for the masculine. And then there is the Course of Love, which is for the heart, to open, to allow. Yeah.
Now we're gonna be speechless from now.
Yes, and today we're gonna dive into The Right Use of Will, the book that is, for the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the feminine, people connected to the yin energy, to the slow, the dark, the magnetizing energy, the feeling realm.
Magnetic.
Yes.
Yes.
The feeling realm, our intuition, and all the gems that lie down beneath.
Yes. That is actually the kingdom of heaven, that even Jesus used to say something about that, because like the kingdom is within.
Yes. In the dark.
Yeah, that's it. Because when we begin to bless our feelings rather than reject them, they transform into what they truly are, not what we thought they were, and they become this magnificent radiance.
Yeah, that's it.
As the feminine is, really, when it's seen with the eyes of the heart and eyes of the true presence.
Yes.
I'm coming to this incredible understanding about the perfect alignment between masculine and feminine, particularly between men and women, because there is the equality. And in the world at the moment, it's like, well, we don't need man, we don't need woman. There is a gift that we have for each other that is so profound. Because when women can bring the feminine aspect, the real core feeling realm, it makes the masculine present. And then he offers woman that presence, which she wants more than anything else. And we get, as men, we receive this exquisite feminine light, which we want above all else. And so there is the true marriage of the two, where we meet and we create this new heart between us. So this is my latest kind of way of seeing it. It was like, this is so exquisite.
Yes. It's beautifully put, really. Yes. The way I can resonate with that, and it is all within ourselves, the masculine and the feminine energy, and the mastery of our own energy. Actually, that's the way I see it as well. If we can master those energies in a conscious and loving and accepting way, which is an aspect of the feminine, the allowance. And the presence of the masculine, so our mind can be there. I mean, if we cannot be present, we are not here and now, and our feelings are only here and now. So we need that presence to be able to dive in and to allow all parts of us. And And it's about the rebuilding of our relationship with all those parts. And indeed, the man in human form and the feminine in human form can help each other in a way that we cannot help ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is all within, the reflection is a tool for the blind spots. Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. Well, I could be in my mind, but when I reach my true feelings, the mind shifts into presence. And it stops thinking that the thoughts of this world, and it stops thinking that it's no longer caught in a perception. It's no longer perceiving, it's just being fully present. Yes. Which then is delightful to feel. So man becomes present for his own feelings. Well, this is the whole right use of all premises. Like, it's a right use of will.
The feeling realm is the will, right? Yeah.
Yes, beautiful. She is the creator. She is the desire. She is the desire, right? Exactly. And we are never taught how to use the desire. Actually, there's also spiritual schools that go like, no, you need to get rid of your desire.
Yes.
It's like, that's an absolute nonsense.
Yes.
Because your heart's desire, you have desires, you have some, and those are real.
Yeah. And
those are real because they come from the core of your being.
Yes. It's the way we express, and that's our unique quality. And if we don't follow those desires, we cannot be able to be our authentic selves. Yeah.
Exactly. Because when I go into like, what is my true desire, I'm already going to that God self. They go, God, what would make me truly happy? So I'm looking for my desire. I'm not just desiring this or that, and I want to have a bike or I want to have this. No. It's like, God, what would make me really happy? What do I truly desire? And then comes inspiration.
Yes.
And now that's already from God. When I say God, I mean wholeness of being.
Yes.
So the Course of Life puts it really beautifully. Says, God, which is your being. That really blew my mind. Your being is what God is.
Yes. That is beautiful.
Yeah. It takes a little to sink, but when it does, you just go, oh.
Yeah. And one that really caught me was my awareness of self is God.
Which is capital S, self, yes. Absolutely.
So just the awareness, that energy, that frequency, that was like
And you know how I know it's true? Because when you said self, you lit up.
Yeah.
There is this thing in us called vision. In Course of Miracles they call it vision. In Course of Love there is another expression, they call it observance. That means that even in a physical form you see the shift, like the elevated self of form, that your form leads up. It's like you just close your eyes and you just like have this face of Christ written all over you. And then I know it's real,
Yes.
Now we're talking,
Yeah.
We're not just talking, but there is an experience behind all of that.
Yes, there is deeper layer of connection, of remembrance.
Yeah. And it's delightful and it's connective, because when I see you there, it helps me to ignite my own.
Yeah. And your presence really helps me to be present for all that I am experiencing right now.
Beautiful. And we already feel safe. I think that's what we did in the first podcast.
Yes.
We talk about safety, how important safety is in a relationship, and how to develop safety. We basically say, hey, how safe do you feel? And then you tell me how safe, and is there something I can do to support you in feeling totally safe. And vice versa.
Yes.
And when a safety comes in, the will opens up.
Yeah.
So one bottom line for the will, for the feeling part of ourselves, and I'm not talking about emotions, I'm talking about feelings, big difference between the two. Yeah? Emotions are more like ego's feelings, whereas the real feelings are there's like of God, you know, like they're like, you meet those and it's like, oh my God, I just remembered everything, the whole creation from the very beginning.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a different experience, and it's not, you cannot teach that, right? You cannot learn, you just have to allow.
Yes. You cannot teach it, but you can establish a container, like for example safety.
Yes.
You can establish this container in which the will can gently come up, because the will is like timid, you know, it's like, it's shy, it's so subtle. It's like a feminine is so delicious, that's the word.
Graceful
And subtle. The light is subtle. You know?
Yes, it's super subtle. Yeah.
Super subtle, like wow, like it dawns on you. If you can talk about it, it's not it. It's that, like it cannot almost be named. In my view, it's like the real light cannot be named. Otherwise, perception steals it into the realm of what it thinks it knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's nailed to the cross.
Yeah, it's nailed to the cross, exactly. Because you go like, oh, now I know. Boom, you're dead again.
Yes.
Nailed again. Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
What the will actually needs our own spirit, our own presence, to be lovingly present for it. So when if I ask you, how are you feeling right now? I'm not actually looking for an answer. I'm looking you to connect to that place and ooze it. You see? Because feelings don't talk.
Yeah.
Feelings communicate by extension. They extend. They're like sun. They shine. They ooze. And when you connect deeply to your feelings, and if I am connected to those feelings, actually through Earth, through the magnetic realm that is unseen on Earth, we connect as if through a fastest internet possible, you know? It's the connecting link between us, but we need to have our legs and our will and our feelings so deeply connected to this internet, for the lack of a better word, right? To this realm in which we fully connect. So you feeling whatever you're feeling,
yes,
and you keep feeling it more, and you allow it more. Hey, there you go. Your face immediately shifts. And then you feel it more and allow it even more. Because in this world, we usually protect this realm. But now you don't have to, because you feel safe. And off it goes, yeah. And if you put your face a little bit more forward even, yeah, you connect even more. That's it. Almost like you're looking down. You're looking down and yeah. There's a beautiful, in the lesson of A Course in Miracles, 47, because we're talking about the Trilogy anyway, and they all connect beautifully. In lesson 47, it's like, drop down, way below the churning of your mind, and keep going down, until you reach the kingdom of heaven, the place where your peaceful self abides, which cannot be destroyed, but it can be obscured. See? Yeah. So for me, this will, when it's free to be what it is and allowed to express its feeling without talking too much, begins to ooze and radiate. And when that comes, the spirit or the mind becomes present.
Yeah.
Unshakably. It's like, wow, it's almost like it locks in, because he is the electro, she's the magnetic, and those two poles lock into oneness and begin to birth the magnetism, which is the heart. So, yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Like how it's all kind of makes sense through this. And it was interesting because when you said this, we're going to discuss these 3 books, and I wanted to immediately say, we're going to discuss the 3 masterpieces. Because each of them I have never encountered, apart from Urantia book, I'd have to say, I haven't encountered such profound work that's available to us to help us with the mind, with the Course in Miracles, to actually connect to the heart in a way that hasn't been done before through A Course of Love. And Right Is of All, that's like beyond words, beyond description for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you noticed I was speechless. Really, for me, it is really about allowing to drop down, to connect. I always connect myself to the core of the earth, the crystals, and really let myself be supported by that part of me. And then from that place, you bring up the energy, and then you just you drop in, you connect with it, and
So we call the will the mother.
Mother. Well, yes, she is.
Because we have this father thing on earth, everything is a father, and we go like, well, there is no mother because father already has all of this. No, there is mother. There's this quality in Christianity. There could be the Mary aspect of ourselves. It's like even when you look at the Bible, which is also great help if it's understood. That all the characters in the Bible live within me.
Yes.
All of them.
They're the
So there is a character called God. Called God, who is my wholeness, my oneness with everything. There's a character called Jesus, which is my heart. There's a character called mind, which is the Herod, the one that wants to be separate and make world and build palaces and make itself rich, but not necessarily happy. And anything that reminds it of Jesus or Christ, it kills it by thinking, by overthinking. Do you know many people who like overthinking? Yeah, major addiction.
Yes.
Biggest addiction on the planet is overthinking.
I was highly addicted to that, many years ago by now, but
That's what I call Herod. That's the Herod in the Bible, And then you have Moses, which is a cool character because of Moses is all your laws. Thou shalt do this and thou shalt do that. But you made your whole world and you have laws of this world in you. Men should, men shouldn't, women should, women shouldn't, children should, the government shouldn't, right? But those are all your specific laws. No one else has them sorted out the way you do. And when you break those laws, you feel guilty. But you forgot that you made those laws.
Yes.
See, so you got to really look at the structures of, how the guilt is made of this judgment system. So I call it Moses. I just made this up. But it's also a brilliant book if it's used correctly. And that Jesus is the second coming of Christ is your own heart being born. People waiting for this dude to show up, but he's not going to show up because the images they have of him, it's impossible for him to even come. even if he came, they would probably nail him instead of the cross. You're not him, you're some kind of dude. And he would say, hey guys, my kingdom is not of this world. What do you mean? Show us some miracles. No, my kingdom is not of this world, because it's all within. And if we separate from that, we make a world. And then we want to fit that in it, and it will never fit.
No, it is that hamster wheel, right? That
Yeah.
It is
Bingo.
Walking the horizontal instead of and that's the cross as well, right? The resurrection, bringing the feelings up to the present masculine. And
that's the real resurrection, when we allow the feelings to flow through us. We don't push them down. We go, oh, feelings are rising. Let's give it a full expression. Good, bad, ugly, and magnificent. They are.
No judgments, no nails, no.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So this Righteous of All is 8 books.
Yeah. It's a big masterpiece.
It's a shocker. The books that were burned and hated and loved and adored and destroyed, and Yeah. Any questions you have, Dia, go for it.
Yeah. For if someone is listening and is like, okay, well, this sounds, it resonates in a way that the mind kind of makes sense of, probably, but how to go about it? There are 8 books. I mean,
right at the beginning it says, if this book is for you, you will know it from just the introduction. So you read the introduction. You might say, this is just rubbish, and it's not for you. And it might not be for you. I met many people who just basically say, you know what, this really doesn't resonate with me. So gives you that option to choose if this is for you.
Yeah.
But it also says another thing. It says, realize these books meant to trigger you, and they're not meant to be just a mental exercise.
Yes.
And it invites you, when it triggers you, that you don't hurt or harm anyone or yourself. Right. And then he goes straight to the point. So what these books do and how they work, they've got all sorts of stories and sentences and structures that they're supposed to trigger you. You should get triggered. If you're not getting triggered by these books, it says it's probably your feeling body is really, really shut down. Because the minute you open them and you begin to trust these books a little bit more, they will begin to introduce you to places in you did not know existed.
Yeah, I can agree.
And obviously I'm just speaking my own experience, and I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. So that's the introduction. And then it goes straight into the love of the Spirit for everything has been known on earth for quite some time. It's been called unconditional love. And then it says, however, now is time for another understanding on earth, that of the divine will. And truly, it does introduce something that I rarely find anywhere else. And it might be, and I might not be aware of somebody's work, but this particular one really looks deeply into what is this will? What is this will of God? What's really in it? And it's so vast, and it's so scary. And it's scary because we make it look dark, we make it look ugly, and we actually call it hell. And we call it devil. The will, devil, you know? It's the scary place in us, is those dark feelings, dark night of a soul. You go like, oh yuck, I don't want to feel this. Well, next time it comes, kiss it, embrace it. It's like, oh dark, hello darkness, my friend. It's a part of us that needs to receive light. And what does it receive instead?
Rejection, denial, suppression.
attack, everything, right?
Yes.
So to put it in a nutshell, it's all about connecting to our so-called bad feelings.
Yeah.
And give them freedom to express as those feelings need to express, not the way we think we should express them. So it doesn't encourage talking about it, like I do right now. Actually encourages the sound.
Yep.
Yeah? Say if I ask you, like, how are you feeling right now? And let's say you have no words. The only thing you have is your sounds. You just go, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you keep going, more of your will begins to vibrate and express.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not about sitting around mentalizing feelings and talking about them. It's feeling the feelings and opening the space for this feeling to expand, extend, reach out.
Yes. And also to drop into the body, to connect with the body, because the body is more feminine, polarized, right? And most of our feelings knock on our body like, hey.
Beautiful. That's it. Absolutely true. Because first there is will, and will create itself, the physicality, by slowing itself down until it became dense. Because feelings are not physical until they build itself the body, right?
Yes.
Whereas the mind creates itself, and it came up with these thought structures and patterns of thinking, which is the electric, but the feelings are magnetic. So the first book is like a mild introduction to the whole structure. First thing that it introduces is judgment release. Because if you don't release judgments, you can't really move emotional things that are held under these judgments. So judgment release is even more important than emotional release. And it also suggests that you first release judgments, then your feelings begin to move, and then you step back. This is the key. This was a big learning for me. I had to learn, how do I allow the will to move the way the will wants to move?
Without controlling it in a way.
Yes. In that sense, I would say, how do you want to express without me controlling you? Right?
Yeah.
I'm just present, and you can vomit all over me, or you can shine the light over me. Whatever it is, I'm going, oh, there it is, you know?
Yeah.
If I find a problem, I have a problem. I need to find out, what are my feelings that you move that way?
Yeah.
And connect to my feelings about it and resurrect those, you see?
Yeah.
It's rarely about the other.
Yes, I totally agree. You can like almost always connect it back to a belief that you have that it's touching upon. Judgment release is the most important thing. Do you have certain exercises that you do specifically on the judgment release?
Yes. So one of them, it calls it a formal release. Now this is something fascinating. Some of these are like my own little concoctions of all this work. But what I find that, for example, do you have a negative judgment on yourself? One negative judgment, because the best is to show it in this vulnerable place of like, let's bring it home.
Yes.
You know, the thought that says like, am I good enough?
Yes. Please, let's move that one.
So you got that one? Okay, so watch this. When you do it in this gray voice. It's internal, and it doesn't go out saying it. It just thinks it in this same tone of voice that it always does, like, oh, I must not be good enough because the man is not really present for me, right? But you tell yourself that internally. Now, let's just play with it. Say, I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
Say it again. See, now you're speaking it up.
I'm not good enough.
Yes, and now you're laughing. right?
Yeah.
Because the minute you speak it, you go like, that's insane. What do you mean I'm not
Yeah.
good enough? I'm totally good
Yeah.
enough, right?
Yes.
Now, I show you the next level to this. It's like, say it in a higher pitch. I am not good enough.
I'm not good enough.
Yeah, and now it's totally ridiculous, right? But
yes.
in the gray voice, it's so real.
It is serious.
And that imprints your body with that thought so profoundly that you actually think you are a living manifestation of not good enough. And then you're gonna try to get through the day with this burden. So that's one way of doing it. You call it out. All you have to do, find the judgment you have, and then voice it.
Yes.
Even on your own. Repeat it several times out loud, and you want to change the tonality. That's like a bonus material, because you'll be giggling your head off on your worst nightmares. You will be just giggling, going like, oh my God, I just told myself all this and it's not true. But the imprints are telling you this is very real.
Yeah.
So that's one judgment release. There is asking like, well, is that really true? Let's do that again. So like, I'm not good enough.
But like the Byron Katie, the work,
Yes.
the 4 steps, the questions.
And so let's take that, because
Yes.
Byron Katie does it in some way. I'll show you another way of doing it. So, I'm not good enough. Is that true?
No.
Exactly, right? It's just not true. The minute you look at it and open it up and express it, you go like, God, this is rubbish. Now, what happens to you when you believe it?
Yeah, well then your actions will
my
diminish
actions.
yourself. Yeah, my actions will diminish. My self-trust will go down.
How's your chemistry when you say I'm not good enough? That's what we want to look at. How's your inner chemistry exactly? Can you feel the difference? And now,
the energy.
yes,
down.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't want this. Can you feel the rejection right there? I don't want to feel like this, right? So that's beautiful. Now we know what it does when we think that thought. It manifests in a will as hell.
Yeah.
Because it's not really true, you see? The will goes, this is not true. Yuck.
Yes, and it's the contraction, right? Instead of the relaxation, which is...
And beautiful. And you can just simply keep allowing yourself to feel that miserable chemistry. You just keep allowing it more. Could you allow it more? Say yes.
Yes.
Can you allow it even more?
Yes.
See it? The minute you give it a space to be what it is, it begins to ooze itself out. That's how we express it, by feeling it. See, feeling it just, even unpleasant, you're feeling it more.
Yes.
Good. And now comes the next one, and that is, who would you be without that thought that you're not good enough?
Me.
Can you allow the me even more? That one, yes, good. You're going the right direction, yes. I wish I could take a picture of your face. Now watch this. Could you allow it even more?
Yes.
Can you allow it even ooze from your feet?
Yes.
And from your ankles? That's it. From your legs, from your belly, from your chest, from your everything. Just keep oozing it. Give it more and more. See, that's a full expression right there. And if we were not having a podcast, I would probably virtually hold you here for another 20 minutes. So you fully express this delightful state of being. Who would you be without that mad idea that you're not good enough?
Yeah.
You see? So that's another way of releasing judgment, but it's also once you get in touch with who you be without it, did you actually give that an expression? You feel the difference there?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's another way. And then there's another one where you go like, I release the judgment. You can speak it out. I no longer believe, and you say it out loud.
Yeah, that's powerful.
I no longer believe that I'm not good enough, and you just walk around and you tell your friends. By giving expressions
I
like,
no longer believe I'm not
exactly.
good enough. Yeah.
And if it's still in there, you go
I
like,
am amazing.
yes, beautiful. Yes. And then that which is true you will begins to shine through, because it's no longer suppressed under the rejection of these feelings. So your core self, your Virgin Mary, your virgin feelings will begin to be able to grow, and you will get in touch with the source of feelings that are creation, that are not just the feelings that you named before and stored in you. You express those, and now you empty to birth the brand new way of being. And that is how we create a new world. Otherwise, you're constantly projecting your old ideas that you denied within yourself. And then you nail it out there.
Yeah. It's just a repeat of unconscious, like, record.
Crucifixion.
Yes, the crucifixion.
You nail
on.
yourself to the cross. Yes,
over
exactly.
and over and over and over. And we do it not only to ourselves, we do it.
And then suddenly the old world begins to vanish. And people say, well, I still see everything. It's like, I know you do. But I don't live there. Actually, when you really stop living there, you will even stop drawing people to yourself that will be opposing you in any way. They'll just join you in the new creation. Because there's this mad idea that creation happened and now we all like trying to find make sense in it. No. We need to return to being the creator.
Yeah.
Or creatress.
The fun creator.
Yeah, the fun, the love creator. And then love comes in all sorts of forms, and you allow all of them through acceptance. So that's the judgment release. Once you release these judgments, you begin to feel emotions moving in you and feelings, and then you give those expressions through sound and body movement. And this is something that the body will show you how to do.
Yeah.
You don't go into some techniques or go take a stick and beat the shit out of something. No. Just wait for your body to show you how it wants to express rage, how it wants to express terror, how it wants to express grief, how it wants to express it. All you do is step back. You're no longer controlling it, and you're just allowing it to ooze itself into existence. So you become virtually naked, you know? Like the Course in Miracles says so beautiful, it says, when you're willing to hide nothing, when you're willing to hide nothing, the good, bad, the ugly, and the magnificent, nothing, you hide none of it. You not only be willing to enter into communion, that's how we enter into communion with each other, into this holy relationship of wholeness, rather than the mental exercise we normally do when we dialogue. So those are the two bottom line practices. One is the judgment release, the other is emotional release. Sometimes you might start with the sound, allow your movement happen and then release judgment, or you release the judgments and you will feel emotions moving.
And the thing is, what I noticed as well is once you allow those feelings where you really judged that they were so bad that you felt like you could not handle them, because that's how they felt to me, like I couldn't handle those feelings, those energies. But once I did, and once I moved and expressed them, it is the most magnificent thing I've ever experienced. It really turns hell into heaven. It really has that transformative quality.
It does.
And it is all so, I mean, it is so close. We we all have access to it whenever we want. We don't need any fancy tools, anything to practice this. Yeah. Why do you believe that most people, what you said, don't resonate or throw it away or burn it? What can you shine some light on that?
Let's go straight to the end of the book. There is this thing called Steps to Healing and a Complete Recovery. So what the basic practice of Righteous Soul is that instead of trying to change the world, you go and find your feelings that the world brings up in you.
Yeah.
Because it's those denied feelings that create the world in the first place. So you will have a different drama than I do.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different karma drama. So let's say you have a situation, whatever triggers you, you go, how does this make me feel? Now, one of the biggest mistakes is to rush with an answer. First, I reckon anything that comes within two or 3 minutes, or like any knee-jerk reactions, just notice them, good, keep going deeper until you actually get one feeling. Because there's this, if it's many feelings, we really actually only feel one feeling at a time because there's only one will. But emotions feels like there is many of them. And I'm talking about expressing feelings right now, not necessarily expressing emotions, which we can. But when you get in touch with the real feeling, your emotions become free. If you get caught in your emotion, you'll be probably processing it on a couch for years. You know, because they are mostly like a cover-up for your real feelings.
Yeah.
So Righteous Soul introduces this idea there is real feelings and false feelings. False feelings are those when I say, how are you feeling? I say, well, I'm feeling a bit sad today. And that's you just in your mind right now. It's not a feeling thing. So like you just go into the libraries of names that you placed upon your feelings.
Yeah.
So the real feeling takes a while to rise up. It takes a moment to come. So let's say, how does that situation make you really feel? So sit down, put your head forward, as if you were looking down your belly almost, and wait for the feelings to reach you, rather than you going with your program mind, having looked for something familiar and say, oh, I can see a bit of sadness in here. Don't look for that. I usually go like this. I go, God, now help me. Now help me to find out what is the real feeling underneath this. And when that big issue that you have brings up that feeling, notice what is your relationship to that feeling. See, by then, forget the world. Now the world triggered your feeling, which is the creator of the world. Are you with me still, or have I lost you?
Yeah, I'm just in my feeling.
Yeah. So you find what the real feeling is, and then you notice what's my relationship to it. And then when you feel, I could guarantee you that your relationship to that feeling is not going to be very nice.
No, it's rejection.
Yes. And who is the one who is rejecting?
The mind.
That one needs the healing more than the feeling itself.
Yeah.
So without acceptance, feelings cannot evolve. So acceptance is the key. And the steps to healing, there's like 8 of them. It says, hello feeling, I want to make a connection to you. You know? Then it says, explain to the feeling why you've been denying it. She's like, oh, I've been denying it because you're an awful feeling that I really don't want to feel. I don't even believe it's mine. And you just begin conversation. Because there is 2 of you in there. There is the spirit in you and there is the will in you. And those 2 are at odds.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do, we're looking for how to unite them.
Yeah.
So you start doing these steps, hello feelings, explain to them, and next one is like, can you accept that feeling? If you're really honest, you will see that you have non-acceptance for it. Yeah? You first have to heal the non-acceptance. That's where the mind has to change. And it's not going to want to. But that's where the mind needs change.
Yeah.
Once your mind is changed, the feelings will begin to express themselves. Then you realize the mind is the cause, and mind needs to apologize to feeling for being not so nice to them for so long.
Them for so long. Yeah.
Denying them for so long, apologize, ego, sadness. I am so sorry that I keep nailing you to the cross, that I've been attacking you and denying you and hating you. And at some point the sadness will go, sweetheart, hello, lovely to see you. And all your negative feelings will be suddenly become your friends. And what else happens? It's just like the Princess and the Frog, you know? Like this sadness and frustrations, they're like little froggies we would never kiss. But kiss them and they'll turn into prince. And if it's a man, we'll kiss them and he will have a little princess born in him, who then he will marry. You know, man has to marry their own princess, and woman has to marry their own man, the God-like presence inside her. But it needs a little bit of transformation.
Yes.
That's the real marriage. Then you can meet the world from this married place, and you will draw to yourself all you need come from that place, instead of creating a world that has to keep reflecting to you the misery of your denial.
Yeah, these steps are, for me, they have been life-changing, I can say.
Phenomenal. And often they are skipped as just another paragraph. But it really, if you don't do these steps, your whole righteous soul can be a very confusing, long journey. But using these steps will get you real quickly connected to your real feelings and begin to transform them through acceptance, through genuine acceptance. Because I've seen this going on, like, can you accept it? Of course. It's all love, isn't it? It's like, that's not. That's just your mind playing games with you. The acceptance has to be real, because you can't fool your feelings, really.
No, never.
You can't fool the will. Exactly.
No.
So that would be my answer to your question, is like, how do you deal with the situations in the world? You got to begin to transform them in you.
Yeah.
So whatever the situation, how does it make me feel is the first question. And what's my relationship to that feeling that truly arises? It's my second question. And then I do the steps to heal myself. Because you know what? Feelings are magnetic, and they will draw to themselves situation to trigger them.
Yes.
Then we tend to attack the triggeree. But instead, if we begin to thank the triggeree, whoever triggered you, say, hey, sweetheart, you just triggered the hell out of me. I'll catch you in a couple of days. I've got a lovely thing to transform within myself, you know?
Yeah.
And then...
you're bringing me a gem.
Yeah, this is a gem. This is revolutionary. This is where you pretty much can let go of any kind of form of therapy, because you can heal yourself.
Yeah.
That's all that is required. You're no longer analyzing emotions and little reactions and trying to change them into something else. You, at one yourself, become one. Atonement, at one, you become one with your whole self.
Yeah.
And then your karma drama will begin to vanish.
If your feelings are no longer, if there are no longer denied feelings, there will no longer be an attraction of things that trigger those feelings.
The world as you know it will begin to vanish.
Yeah.
And it will be first for you, but then you begin to attract people who are already doing the similar thing. So you won't even if you don't have opposition with yourself, you will not have an opposition outside you.
It's a beautiful, beautiful art, a masterpiece of creation.
Absolute masterpiece.
I always say, like, I don't know if you watched the movie Inception, the dream in the dream, and the tokens that they place to remember that they are in a dream. And for me, these books are like tokens that I put in my dream, in this dream, to remember again who I am. And there are more tokens, but these books for sure are those tokens.
So that's just the first book.
Yeah. 7 more to go.
They came out every 2 or 3 years. So you had 3 years with each book to process with it. Now, the first one, what I call like a mild introduction, also it's very powerful. The second and to the 8th book are all about insane triggers that will trigger things in you didn't know they existed within yourself. Expressing the will, the way it's taught in the first book, will then help you to undo some original cause that caused you to shut down your will in the first place, which actually happened like so long ago, even before physical manifestation existed. That was already a split. And so you will go into these primordial forces, you will go into times even before Earth was.
Yeah.
All of that is remembered within ourselves, but it's hidden in this place that we covered over by negative feelings.
Yeah.
So all these memories of original creations are there. And when that begins to, when you remember again, you'll remember the origins of creation. And then you rewrite all the books that have been ever written from the mind, because mind wasn't present yet when all these things happened.
Yeah.
So you need to learn how to go into this place before mind was. Right. Did you see where you went just then?
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. You go into this place before language existed, before all this drama we are so caught up in existed. And we need to get there and heal that.
Yeah.
Because that was already an effect of something that happened even before that.
Yes.
So you will enter into what they call the original cause. And it's in you, and it's covered up over by enormous amount of judgments and denials.
Yeah.
So as we begin to express all these feelings, all these amazing memories will begin to come of the whole track of you since the beginning of before time was, before space was, before perception
form,
was, before mind was, before the split was.
Back to unity.
Back to unity, which is within you still, but living in a mind you cannot possibly be aware of it.
No, I can agree and relate to all that you're saying on these precious books. And
yes,
I would suggest anyone who is listening who thinks like or who would trigger something with, and email us, we will send you the book.
Yeah, that's exquisite. I think they're available even from different source than the original channeler, and I don't think you can buy it from a publisher anymore. Yeah, but they're still available.
Oh, that's great.
It is a masterpiece, and it's 8 books, and it's not an overnight journey.
No, okay.
So they need to be done. They need to be done slowly, and I've started somewhere in early 90s, and for a long time I was really tripping with it. I just was completely didn't get it at all. Took me 10 years before I even realized that
I don't think you can handle
feelings don't express by talking about them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God.
Wow.
I spent 10 years just talking nonsense and wanting others to go like, you have some denied rage. Just like, yeah, how does that make you feel?
Wow,
Deal with it, you know, rather than get everyone else to express. Come back home and learn how to do it yourself. You know? So, yeah.
Reflection.
And then comes next level where you actually learn to express your positive feelings too. They scare you, then your negative feelings. I guarantee it.
Yes.
Because for a long time I was expressing all the negative stuff, and then one day I'm going like, well, how come I'm not really expressing, you know, joy? So then I started going like, how am I going to go about expressing pure joy for hours? Like I was expressing for hours negative expressions.
Yes.
And I was like,
to
wow, this
be
is
able
difficult.
to handle them, that frequency.
Mm-hmm. It has to be same as expressing terror or whatever's arising.
My intention is to practice to express joy daily. Especially it's an intention to align with my own frequency.
Yes. In Righteous of Will, they call it intent to heal.
The intent to heal.
Yeah. Intent to heal is equal to what Course in Miracles calls the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Intent, like intent to heal, which is comes from intent to meet feelings in a loving acceptance, you know, and it's that intent that gives you the power to heal things when you get into dark places where you want to run. This intent to heal will take you to places you did not know, like the healer within you kicks in.
Yeah.
And that healer will awaken something in you, and then you will be meeting your negative feelings or bad feelings with this loving, genuinely loving acceptance. Yeah? Because if you have shame and you hate the shame, you don't have a real presence to heal it with. So the part of you that's broken is trying to heal another part that's broken. That's therapy forever.
Yes.
So you have to find this part of you which is right there all the time.
Yeah.
But to connect to that healer within is it takes a moment until that becomes really tangible.
Yeah. Sorry.
Just to finish that comes from those 8 steps.
Yeah.
You realize one thing, it's not the feelings that need healing, it's your mind that's not okay with feelings that needs healing.
That's the judgment release.
So that's the judgment release, and the mind that's not present, because mind cannot be truly present without feelings. Actually, presence is, like I was running men's groups for a very long time, I realized presence is when we all present with our feelings. We're present, we're not controlled by them, we're not controlling them either. They're just there to reflect to us.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah. Is it even that kind of like a Kali thing, you know, like Kali is the part of us that cuts off the old mind. She cuts your old head off, but a new one is in a place straight away. A mind that's now present. I go like, oh, this is me. Not the one that thought this and that. Yeah, so all of these mythologies and everything becomes so clear, so tangible, so useful.
Yes. I always refer to it as that's in some of the teachings as well, as the Christ consciousness, that it is a consciousness that is present, that is there to not kneel, to zoom out, to see the bigger picture, or to have like all parts of us integrated. And
that's it. So your presence becomes the God in you. You know, the will begins to receive a new qualities, and she will begin to birth those rather than birthing the insane thoughts that go through your head all day. So she'll begin to receive something real, and then she will birth the Christ in you. She will birth the heart.
Yeah.
And there is more to it, but in nutshell, that's what happens.
Yes.
And then there is this second coming, which is the birth of your heart. It's not like you bring an old heart into your heart, but you birth a brand new heart by this alignment of a spirit and a will. It's like a little sandwich. Your heart becomes the meat inside, becomes the light within. That becomes genuine, and on top of it, it will be perfectly embodied. So every cell in your body will reflect this full alignment, which in the course of love they call the elevated self of form. So it becomes physical. And I'll say one more thing before we finish. The book starts with this beautiful idea. It says, I am one God, but I have 4 parts: spirit, will, heart, and a body. If any of those 4 is out of alignment, everything is out of alignment.
Yes.
And right use of will is using the will correctly, so the spirit can align with the will, so it can birth the heart and manifest it in a physical realm.
It's beautiful. It's the unification of ourself, right?
That's it. That's it. But it has to be, like right now it's a story.
Yes,
and it
has to be
becomes a living love. It becomes a living expression of this perfect alignment within yourself. Once that within you, you'll be able to perfectly align with another person, which is delightful. Because then, like for example, I'm the spirit. You're the will, right? What we birth in between us is a relationship. Either fragmented relationship, special relationship based on I need this and I need that, or a holy relationship, which is finding out if I bring the gift of my presence and you bring the gift of your openness, what will that birth?
Yes.
And that's the discovery, like what will that birth? And then something begin to birth between us, and it becomes tangible, it becomes physical, and you shapeshift like you're shape-shifting right now, hearing this, and your face becomes like a little child.
Yeah.
Lest you become like little children, the kingdom of heaven is unknown to you. And that's that very same thing. We begin to feel youthful, alive, begin to feel vibrate. We vibrate.
Yeah.
I'm vibrating
Playful.
right now myself, playful, joyful, and the whole world will transform that way.
Yeah.
Because it comes from us. We're no longer trying to change the world. We changed everything within until the world becomes the reflection of our inner change. The kingdom of heaven, wherever you look.
Ourselves finally embodying our creationship, so to say, because this relationship birthed something new instead of a repeat of the special kind of relationship, instead of the holy one, which is always new.
Always new, brand new every day.
Yeah.
You don't get bored. If you're bored, you're not creating. You're juggling some old stuff that appears to be new, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then you search for some new adventures. You browse net for little gadgets that will brighten your day, but the kingdom of heaven is like, hello. Been waiting for you forever.
Yes. And I will always be waiting until you open up. Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you so much for your presence, for your guidance in bringing this book across in a way that is really unexplainable. It is all about the experience, and I just hope that with sharing this, with our communion in this holy relationship, that we bring across what people maybe can feel in energy wise, and they recognize something in it, it triggers something in them.
Triggers are good.
Yes.
Eventually the trigger becomes the gold.
Yes, the golden
I say,
nuggets.
I say, if someone triggers you, give them $100.
Yeah. Yes.
They're like, hey, thank you so much. They are your saviors. They are really your...
Yeah.
Because you can't see your own feelings. That's the thing. So the outer reality has to reflect it to you. That's so beautiful. I love this. Shemara, so beautiful catch up with you again.
Yes, thank you
and
so much.
Maybe next time we take up Course of Miracles or one of those other two.
Awesome.
And then
yes.
we can like do a 4-part talks on this amazing trilogy.
I am so looking forward to it, and again, thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful day, because your day just started.
Yeah,
right?
And yours just ended.
Mine is about to end, yes.
We're also talking to each other from you. Where are you?
I'm in Curacao at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm in Byron Bay, Australia. So we're like on the other side of the planet. So it's just so amazing that we can just sit here and fully enter the kingdom through just this amazing avenue. Beautiful.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to our next call, and I will talk to you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.